What do you want, little mouse creature?
Can you, start this thing?
When are you going to learn to do this yourself? I mean, I'm not here to wipe your bum, you know? I have job to do. Not here to play like some people.
Oh, I see. Thank you, Mr. Igor, sir. All right, my little nosy listeners. Welcome back to Season 4, Episode 10, What We Keep Hidden. And ooh, this one's juicy. Not blood in the moonlight juicy, more like the other kind. Less juicy, but just as much trouble to clean up. Last time, we popped into Larose from atop the temple of Mr. Dog Breath Fluffy Ears. Met a money changer who was extremely nice, with a big smirk Sharael said looked just like mine. So, yeah, suspicious. Then Sharael discovered that small beer was not small at all, and I heroically tested its potency, repeatedly, for science. Anyway, by the end of the night, she's tipsy, he's amused, and I'm the only one who can blow bubbles through my nose, which, frankly, should terrify everyone. There's roast, rooms, and a bunch of awkward hints of romance. Or, I suppose it could just be constipation. Either way, things are about to get soft. Like, emotionally soft. So grab a mug, pull up a pillow, light a fire, in your living room, bedroom, bed, hells, anywhere with suitable combustibles. And let's see what happens when the armor comes off.
Cullen, Avon. Let's get you something to eat. I raise a hand, flagging down a passing barmaid.
What can I get you, mister?
What do you have for dinner tonight?
We might have some roasted veg left, but that's about it. Supper's been done for hours.
That's fine. Another 2 beers and a small, please.
Right, mister. 2 beers, a small and 2.
DagGar's mug thumps loudly on the table. Better make it 3 plates.
3 it is, mister. Be back with the beers.
Looking at Sharael. Your next beer will go down easier, I say, pulling out some more coins. Sharael takes better to the small beer and even offers me a taste. It's sweeter, less bitter, closer to what my mom used to give me as a child. The thought makes me smile. This is what she expected. The barmaid returns with 3 plates.
You're in luck, mister. The cook likes cats. By that I mean to pet, not serve. After I told him about your puss, he dug out some cold roast, even heated up some gravy for you.
Each plate holds a small portion of roast, bread, gravy, and a heap of roasted potatoes and carrots. I pay her with a generous tip, and we dig in. By the end, I find myself wishing for more. The roast wasn't beef, not sure what it was, but it was good. I glance at the other 2 plates, wiped clean, and see the same wistful look on my companions' faces. The cook himself wanders over, jolly and eager, just to scratch DagGar's chin and marvel at a beer-swilling cat. I still feel like another round, but Sharael is definitely tipsy. She tried 1 more strong beer, but gave the last third to DagGar. Now, she nurses a second small. Wait here, I say, heading to the bar. Sir, I add to the barkeep, I need a room.
10 and 5 for the night. Room 7's open, end of the hall, top of the stairs. If it's not, take 8, opposite.
I hand over a silver penny and 5 coppers.
Out by 9.
I nod and return to the table. Sharael barely stirs when I touch her shoulder. Come on, I say, helping her to her feet. She stands but stumbles, swaying. DagGar, standing on hind feet, head pressed into the mug, is nearly at the bottom of it.
What's the hurry?
She mumbles, her words slightly blurred. Let's go see our room.
She got a room.
She asks, eyes lighting up.
Well, let's go see it then.
She lurches forward, grabbing a bald man's head for balance as she passes. I grab DagGar by the scruff, pulling him from his mug, leaving it wobbling on the table. We reach the stairs by the doorway, Sharael climbs enthusiastically, but at the top she stumbles, nearly falling. She recovers, standing in a dimly lit hallway, 3 candle lanterns between 4 doors. Room 7. She flings open a door without knocking, then immediately slams it shut.
Aw, pew. Chamber pot's full.
Room 8, then. She opens the next door with more caution. The room is empty and dark. I grab a lantern from the hall and bring it inside. It's small, but it'll do. A large single bed is pushed against the left wall, with just enough space beside it for a small table and 2 chairs under a window. The walls are unfinished brown wood, the floorboards worn and uneven, gaps between them showing their age. Thankfully, they don't let light through from the tavern below, though the noise is another matter. I toss DagGar onto the bed like a sack of flour. He doesn't land on his feet like a normal cat. Instead, he flops, bounces, and rolls twice before coming to a stop. Within seconds, he's snoring. Well, no wonder, with a couple of pints in him. I take one of the lit lanterns, lift a glass flute, and transfer the flame to the room's only candle lantern before replacing both flutes. Then I return the hallway lantern and usher Sharael inside. I close the door and slide the thick wooden bolt into place. Hours until 9. She twirls in the middle of the room, taking it all in, but her smile fades. What were you expecting? I ask, stepping past her to place the lantern on the table.
I don't know. More. I mean, I've seen rooms like this before, I suppose. But they were nicer.
But you've never spent a night in one? She hesitates, then shakes her head.
Not really.
Not really? How can you not really spend a night in a room?
The same way I can study sword fights without being in one.
Oh, I see. And I do. Tonight is full of firsts for her. If she's spent her life observing through magic, maybe she's experienced nothing firsthand. That would explain the way she swings between innocence and authority, how she sometimes seems wise beyond her years, and at other times completely untested. But how is that possible? Did she spend her entire life on Salandria, secluded, doing nothing but studying? Well, why not? It's not so different from what I've done. I sit heavily on the bed, bouncing DagGar. He lets out an almighty belch, but the little beast doesn't stir, and his wispy snores grow louder. Come, sit, I say, patting the bed. She looks at it reluctantly, then shakes her head shyly before turning to the window. She undoes her sword belt, hanging it on the back of the chair, then sits down, gazing out. I shrug and start taking off my boots, suddenly realizing I haven't considered our sleeping arrangements. Did she take my invitation to sit the wrong way? I was only thinking of comfort. But even in the dim candlelight, I think I see a bit more red in her cheeks than before. Look, I'm exhausted and need to sleep. We've slept side by side every night since we met, so I don't see why sharing a bed should be an issue. But if it makes you uncomfortable...
No, it's not that.
She cuts in, but the way she shies away, still staring out the window, makes me think it is. Rather than leave it hanging, I ask again, what's wrong? She looks at me, and for a moment I think she's about to break, overwhelmed by the pressure of 100 little things. The stress of the past few days, the missing razor, the woman at the temple, and who knows what else she's holding in. But she doesn't. Instead, she gives me a sad smile, shakes her head, and says,
Nothing. I'm fine. I just want to sit up for a while.
She turns back to the window, avoiding my gaze. So I start undressing. I finish pulling off my boots, letting the cool air soothe my hot feet before placing them at the foot of the bed. Then I undo my breastplate. After some effort, I pull the rig over my head and set it down against the wall. My shirt follows, yanked over my head without bothering with the buttons. The amulet still hangs around my neck, glowing fiercely in the darkness. I don't examine it. Instead, I wrap it in my shirt and place it at the foot of the bed. I unbuckle my belt, loop it closed, and hang it over the bedpost, positioning my sword scabbard along the foot of the bed. After a moment's thought, I adjust the belt so I can easily grab my crossbow in the dark. I drop my pants, leaving them in a pile with my shirt. Standing there in my unders, I let my body breathe, grateful to be free of the clothes I've worn for days without relief. She's not watching, so I allow myself a few long moments before moving back to the bed. I move DagGar to the foot of the bed, rolling him sidelong. He lets out several long belches. I pull back the covers. The sheets are stained but clean, and no bugs scatter for shelter. The mattress sags in the center, which could make for an uncomfortable night if Sharael isn't entirely happy with the arrangement. I glance at her, and even in the dim candlelight, her cheeks still seem red. It makes me smile. "Good night," I say, lying down on my side, facing the wall, hoping she notices the gesture.
Good night.
A long pause, and she puffs out the candle.
Sharael Maldine. I wait and watch as the world turns one way, then the other. Cullen shuffles a few times, then goes still. The room is dark, save for the soft glow from the window. I can still taste the sweet and bitter of the small beer, and I feel the swoon of the strong. I like the swoon, the way the room spins just slightly, the warmth in my chest and cheeks, and how it tries to chase away unhappy thoughts. I have so many unhappy thoughts. Corbin, God of War, do you hear me? I wait, but there's nothing. Just the familiar silence with a presence lurking on the edge. I know you hear me. I miss your favor. I miss your voice. I don't know what else to say. I've made my apologies over and over, and I know Corbin doesn't understand why. He doesn't understand me at all. I'm an anomaly, something that appeared suddenly to confound him, and so he ignores me, and I miss him dearly. I think about explaining what I've done, that I cast the spell that, according to Sandra, should never have been cast. This is why I'm here. This is why the world is the way it is, why he no longer reigns above all other gods. But why would I tell him? This world is the only one he has ever known. But the real reason I don't explain? The shame. The humiliation makes me want to cry. Corbin, God of War, I implore you. I swallow hard. I don't know what I've done to Sansa. Will it be a great tragedy, or will it go unnoticed? Perhaps it will even rid the world of the lycanthrope scourge. If there's anything you can do. But I know it's a foolish request. Juhada can overpower the gods of Elysia, just as he can dominate the demons of the Infernos. Juhada, the betrayer from the old book. I know his legend well. As a child, I wondered how he could have done it, how he could betray his god. My stomach clenches at the thought, and tears roll down my face. Am I as bad? Have I failed my god? Someone overthrew Corbin, but at least he still lives. I wipe my tears away, but more come. I try to still my breathing, but the ache in my chest won't let up. DagGar sits beside me on the table. I don't know when the little creature arrived, but he looks at me with a curiously understanding expression. His wide eyes reflect the faint light, and for a moment, I wonder if he knows what I've done. He whispers something, but I can't make it out. I lean closer. He whispers again, his voice softer than ever. I sit back, startled. He gives me an odd gesture, like 2 thumbs up, then jumps from the table, gliding to the bed, his tail trailing behind him. He lands roughly on the mattress, letting out several huge belches before disappearing into the shadows. He'd said it was the right choice. I blink back more tears. After all we've been through, the jiving, even my hateful thoughts of him, he's offered me comfort. His words give me an unexpected sense of relief. He understands. I glance toward the bed and take a deep breath, letting it out in a huff. I pull the silver chain from around my neck, drawing out the amulet of the oath taken. Its deep red glow casts shadows across the room. I look into its facets, watching as the pointer directs itself over the city of Larose, deviating only slightly from the temple. That's a relief. Judging by how close the pointer is to the center of the amulet, the razor can't be far. The room spins again, the beer still swimming in my head, and I let the amulet drop. I turn my attention to Cullen. He lies facing the wall, breathing slow and steady. I long for sleep, but how had I not thought this through? A single bed? I stare at it, torn between longing and trepidation. There's plenty of room. I could easily sleep on one side. But undressing? Do I have to? He certainly did. The reflection in the window showed a sculpted figure, finally revealing what I've been longing to see. Would he expect the same of me? I hadn't undressed when I slept in my bedroll. Is a bed any different? My heart quickens. I wait a little longer, listening to the sounds from the public below. The occasional laughter, the clatter of a dropped mug. I turn back to the window and gaze at the top 2 tiers of the temple, with the silhouette of the demon at its top. It seems so far away now, almost unreal. The archways are draped with heavy curtains, drawn closed, but light glows faintly from within, casting an eerie warmth through the fabric. Hundreds of torches line the temple's exterior, their flames flickering in the breeze, making the towering structure look beautiful, almost divine, rather than sinister. A loud crack jolts me awake. I gasp, jerking upright, my forehead stinging from where it struck the window pane. I blink a few times, trying to make sense of the sound, but my mind feels sluggish, wrapped in the fog of sleep and the lingering effects of the beer. My thoughts move slowly, like trying to wade through water. The swoon of the strong beer still hums through my limbs, but at least my stomach holds steady. I've seen plenty of men lose their supper to strong drink. I won't be one of them tonight. I sit there for a moment longer, letting the world settle around me. Then I turn in my chair, glancing toward Cullen. The faint glow from the street is enough to outline his form in the darkness. The sheet only covers him to the waist, leaving his bare back exposed to the cool air. His breathing is deep and even, the rise and fall of his shoulders slow and steady. He looks peaceful, vulnerable in a way I rarely see. Not for the first time, I feel the tug in my chest, the longing to reach out, to touch him, to feel the warmth of his skin beneath my fingers. I tear my gaze away, instead focusing on the simple task of taking off my boots. But as I bend forward, the room tips dangerously to the side, the effects of the beer rushing back in full force. The swoon feels stronger now, the spinning room blurring at the edges. I try toe to heel, pushing with one foot and pulling with the other, but my toes keep slipping off the new leather. A frustrated breath escapes me. Why is this so hard? I clench my jaw, determined. Finally, with a sharp jerk, one boot slips free. I stand, but the sudden movement makes the room spin faster. I stagger toward the bed, barely keeping my balance, the lure of the soft mattress pulling me forward. My hands reach for the edge, and I lower myself onto my knees, which sink into the sagging mattress. The cool sheets are right there, the softness of the bed inviting me in. But my shirt, I need to get this off first. I fumble with the buttons, but they slip through my fingers. I grunt in frustration and try pulling it over my head. mimicking how Cullen had undressed earlier. The fabric catches on my arms, and for a moment, I feel trapped, my arms tangled in the sleeves. Come on. With a final tug, the shirt comes free, now inside out, hanging awkwardly from my back. I try to let it fall to the floor, but it snags somehow. I try to adjust my breastband, but I lose my balance, toppling forward. My hands catch me on the mattress, the worn sheets rough beneath my palms. I'm so close to him now. Cullen lies invitingly close, his back bare, muscles relaxed in sleep. My breath catches. I can't help myself. I reach out, my fingers trembling, and gently touch his back. His skin is warm, so much warmer than I expected. The heat of him seeps into my hand, grounding me in this moment. His breathing doesn't falter. He stays still, deep in sleep, unaware of my touch. I run my fingers lightly along his shoulder blade, tracing the faint lines of old scars, silent stories I'll probably never hear. My heart pounds in my chest, the intimacy of the moment both thrilling and terrifying. What am I doing? I pull my hand back quickly, hugging it to my chest, but the ghost of his warmth lingers on my fingertips. I sit there, on my knees, the room still spinning around me, feeling both foolish and exhilarated. Then, slowly, I lower myself into the bed.
Cullen, Avon. The morning light is dim, soft shadows stretching across the room. I can feel Sharael lying next to me, her arm draped over my side, her breathing slow and even. I remember her soft caress, the way her fingers traced gently along my back, lingering at each scar as if committing them to memory. She must have thought I was asleep, but how could I be, knowing she was beside me, touching me like that? I'd wanted to turn to her, to meet her gaze, but it's too soon. She's my charge. Even though I long for her, I've resisted. But now, knowing she feels the same, knowing she wants me, or was it the beer? I shift, my arm aching from lying on my side all night. As I turn, I feel her press against me, soft and warm, but I stop myself from leaning in. I want this to be real for both of us. She's nearly face down, deeply asleep, the side of her face resting on the mattress. Her left hand remains draped over my waist. Her shirt is inside out, hanging awkwardly across her back, her long yellow hair trapped within. Her leggings are tangled around her ankles, and one boot is still on, her right knee hanging off the mattress. I can't help but chuckle, stifling it as best I can. Sitting up, I scoot to the foot of the bed. At least she's still wearing her unders. That'll spare her some embarrassment when she wakes. I get up and walk around to her side, carefully lifting her knee back onto the mattress. Her skin, soft, warm, and I pause longer than I should. I tug off the one boot. Her leggings slide free with little resistance. I gently lift her shirt, freeing her trapped hair, letting the fabric slide smoothly off her back. Her skin glows in the faint morning light, her back arched slightly in sleep. It's tempting, so tempting, to reach out, to return the gentle caress she gave me last night. But I don't. Instead, I pull the sheet over her, covering her bare back and shoulders. I turn my attention to the bed's tangled mess and find DagGar curled where I've been sleeping, twisted in an impossible knot. No wonder I've been so uncomfortable. I lift him by the scruff. His eyes crack open, hooded and sleepy, his tiny mouth working the taste of morning. He gives a lazy chitter as I place him at the foot of the bed. He immediately starts grooming, lifting a foreleg and licking it methodically. I gather my clothes and armor, keeping my movements quiet. The inn is still silent. No footsteps, no voices from the tavern below. The light outside is soft, golden, coloring the buildings with a gentle warmth. I unravel the amulet from my shirt, stringing it back around my neck before throwing on my clothes. My sword belt and crossbow follow. I leave my breastplate on the floor. I doubt I'll need it today. DagGar hops onto my shoulder without prompting, his tiny claws digging in. Wincing, I glance at Sharael one last time, before slipping the deadbolt open and stepping into the hall. The inn is still asleep, save for the barkeep downstairs. I find him wiping down mugs behind the counter. I'd like to pay for another day, I say. Not sure if we'll stay, but we need more time.
10 and 5.
I hand him the coins. They vanish into his pocket without another word. I step outside through the back door and find the privies, already cleaned for the morning, still wet from sopping out. DagGar hops onto the roof, playing his strange little games as I do what I need to. I walk the boardwalk for a while, the wooden planks creaking softly beneath my boots. The fresh morning air fills my lungs, crisp and clean. It feels good. The sun is just starting to crest the buildings, painting long shadows across the cobblestone streets. The market's already stirring, vendors setting up stalls, the smell of baking bread wafting through the air. I find what I'm looking for at a metal worker's stall, simple necessities. A straight razor, a strop, soap, tooth grit, 2 brushes, 2 towels, a washcloth, and a hairbrush for Sharael. I skip buying clothes for now, better to let her choose. I make my way back to the inn, stopping at the bar. A basin and a jug of hot water, please.
Gonna give your cat a bath?
A much-needed one. He smirks, calling out to someone behind the bar.
It'll be a few minutes. Water's not quite ready. 2 coppers.
I hand over the coins.
We've got a woman who'll do your laundry for 7.
Good to know, I say, filing that away for later. When the water's ready, I carry the basin and jug upstairs, along with my purchases held in a sack provided by the vendor, for 2 coppers. Sharael is still asleep when I enter the room, her soft breathing filling the silence. I set the basin and jug on the table, arranging the new supplies neatly beside them. The cloth bag I used might work for laundry later. I pick up the straight razor, admiring the craftsmanship. It reminds me of my dad's old razor, a family heirloom that would have been mine one day. I tie the leather strop to the back of a chair and run the blade along it, spine first, smoothing the edge. 25 strokes, then 50 more on the rough side. I test the sharpness. The razor slices cleanly through the hairs on my arm with tiny plinks. Perfect. I pour a little of the hot water into the basin and soak a towel. The heat seeps into my hands, almost too hot to touch, but it cools quickly as I wring it out. I drape the towel over my face, leaning back and letting the warmth sink into my skin. It feels good, the kind of good you forget about until you feel it again. I lather the soap with a brush, swirling it into a rich foam. I'm just about to apply it to my face when Sharael's voice cuts through the quiet.
Don't.
I lower the brush, turning to her. She's sitting up in bed, the sheet clutched around her chest. Her hair is a mess, her eyes still heavy with sleep, but there's something gentle in her gaze.
Don't shave just yet. You look nice.
I blink, caught off guard by the request. Then I nod. All right, I say, rinsing the brush in the basin and setting it aside. I dry my face with the towel, feeling the roughness of my beard beneath my fingers. She smiles at me, a soft, innocent smile. More than innocence, it's being in the moment, present, vulnerable. I'll give you some privacy, I say, gesturing to the table. There's hot water, tooth grit, a brush for your hair, towels, everything you need, I hope. Her smile widens.
Thank you for all of this.
I nod, knowing what she means. The provisions, the privacy, the unspoken trust. I scoop up DagGar, who somehow fashioned a beard, eyebrows, and a tiny pointed hat out of soap suds, and head for the door, slinging him onto my shoulder.
I won't be long if you want to order breakfast.
I will, I say, closing the door softly behind me. In the tavern, I find a table that lets me face the main door. I watch the stairs closely, thinking about last night. She touched my back. It wasn't an accident. It was a long, deliberate caress. She was drunk, I know. That's why I didn't respond. It would have been a mistake. Something tugs at my hair. I swat it away, then again, before realizing DagGar's on my shoulder, trying to braid it. It's too short, I mutter, swatting half-heartedly before giving up. He doesn't attract attention doing this, though how, I don't know. So I let him play.
Here you are, mister.
A young girl says, no more than 13, with brown hair and bright eyes. In one hand, she balances 2 wooden plates of broken eggs sprinkled with pepper, fried potatoes, and onions. In the other, 2 pints of small beer. The smell makes my stomach growl.
Oh, look at you. Aren't you a cute puss?
She hesitates, her brow furrowing.
Mister? What is that on your shoulder?
The ugliest cat in Larose.
More like the ugliest cat on Van Isle. Are you sure it's a cat?
Meow.
My stomach knots, but she seems to miss it, too distracted by his wide grin. I sigh. He's a lot nicer than he looks,
I suppose he'd have to be.
she replies, setting the plates down.
It'll be 11 coppers for all this.
Her eyes dart to DagGar, who's now perched beside one of the beers, half empty.
Did you already drink from this?
She glances at me, her nose wrinkling.
No, you couldn't have. I must have brought it this way. Sorry, I'll get you another.
No, that's fine. It's his. I nod toward DagGar, who leans the mug back with both stubby paws and takes another slurp.
Oh, he drank it?
Probably. Can you bring me one more for my traveling partner? She'll be down shortly. I dig into my pouch, pulling out 2 silver pennies. Keep the rest.
Thanks, mister. I'll be right back.
DagGar snickers into his beer. I flick his ear. Don't attract attention.
Well, look at you, making it almost to the end of Season 4. That's right, Episode 10, What We Keep Hidden. Just one more to go. You've got stamina, my sneaky little listener. Real emotional endurance. Now listen, before you scamper off to pretend you're just listening for the story, do the right thing. Click those shiny stars, share the episode with someone you secretly dislike, and tell them it's wholesome. Then, sit back and wait for the confusion. It's the little things that make life magical. And if you really want to keep the razor sharp, head over to my lair, mikecarmel.ca. That's mikecarmel.ca. Or, if you prefer the extra secret VIP lounge, hit up our Patreon at www.patreon.com/c/Dark Razor Chronicles. Why the C? Farg if I know. Farg, that's a funny one. You get early releases, maybe some behind-the-scenes goodies, and a front-row seat to the slow decline of my intellect. Only one more episode left in Season 4. After that, Season 5, of course. What'd you think? We were gonna skip to Season 7? Again? Well, we're not. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 7 times, well, that just gets confusing. Till next time, keep your claws sharp, your mugs full, and the kibble coming. And for Cullen's sake, if anyone asks, I'm a perfectly normal cat. Meow! See what I did there? No? It wasn't funny? Oh, I see. Now, how did Igor do this?